Hi everyone, this is Emily Schisler, the point person for Achievement First Accelerator Program, Middle School Lit Implementation. If you're watching this video, it's because you're in on program support for Middle School Lit, and we are psyched that you want to be a part of it, really psyched. This video will talk about next steps for you and your network in terms of things you should tackle in the next month as your instructional leaders get ready to roll this out to your teams. First of all, I wanted to highlight the networks who are officially in program support. There are still a few networks who are making some final decisions, but these 6 networks are going to be in the program support, and I'm excited for leaders from these networks to work together and hear more about how things are going as they're implementing Achievement First Middle School Lit curriculum all over the place. California, middle of the country, East Coast, all over. It's going to be great. First up, I wanted to make a quick note that I have downloaded all of the middle school lit curriculum off the Curriculum Hub and put it into a Google Drive folder. That is just for ease of use. Sometimes people have trouble getting into the Curriculum Hub, so now you'll have access to this Google Drive folder. You'll get the PowerPoint for this video afterwards. Go ahead and open the PowerPoint. All the links are live, and I recommend that you save the links and favorite them and then share them with your teachers and leaders who are going to also be involved with program support. Also, in those Google Drive folders are the supplemental anthologies or supplemental texts for each unit, which let's just keep that on the DL. No one talk about copyright, and we should all be fine. But if you're looking for supplemental anchor text or supplements to the anchor text, they're also in those folders. I want to talk very quickly about text lists. There are going to be a handful of shifts from the 16-17 curriculum to the 17-18 curriculum on the middle school list. For that reason, and because I can't vouch for exactly the timeline when new units will be created, I recommend that networks actually use the 16-17 materials for and with their students. I'm going to point out a couple of specific instances that you might want to take note of or make changes for. The Giver in 16-17 was used in both 6th grade and 7th grade because it was being phased out of 7th grade and into 6th grade. And so the new Unit 1 text for 7th grade instead of the Giver will be Fahrenheit 451. Fahrenheit 451, because it's Unit 1, all of those materials should be ready this summer, actually probably by June 1st. But you may want to stick with the Giver, or you may want to sub in Fahrenheit 451. So if you click on this first link for text list, it does include Fahrenheit 451. It does also include the Giver because that will still be a text in the 6th grade. So you can make a call there as to what makes the most sense for you. If you want to know specifically which text or unit is going to be different in 17-18, this second link will take you there so you can take a look. 8th grade curriculum staying largely the same. Fahrenheit 451 is the major substitution in 7th grade. 6th grade is actually going to see the most change, and that's that middle unit that's anthology based is going to change in 17-18, but again, I can't guarantee when those resources are going to be created. So 16-17 materials are awesome and they're well vetted. I recommend you stick with those and use those this year. Those are the materials in the Google Drive folder from the previous slide. Those are all the 16-17 materials. Ultimately, it's your call, but I don't want you to be in a place where you're desperate to start the next text and it isn't done yet at AF. Of course, if you have questions about any of that, just let me know. One other note about text is that you will need to order copies of these books for scholars to have before the school year begins. The second tab of this spreadsheet right here makes recommendations about 3 places from where you might want to order. You can order class sets, as in 35 copies that you use for each class and they annotate with Post-it notes or in a notebook. I personally am a lover of individual copies. I know it's more cost prohibitive. I still think I've sent many a former scholar off to college with beautifully annotated books from their high school program, and it kind of makes my heart happy. But if that's not a financial option, definitely you can use class sets. If you're fancy in a one-to-one place, you could definitely order Kindle editions for all of your scholars, and that's awesome. One note, if you are planning on ordering from Amazon, this is something that we ran into at Yes. We used to order through Amazon, but at any given time, Amazon can actually limit the quantities of copies of text it will sell to you. So if you need 135 copies of The Giver, they may only allow you to order 75 copies. So just know this in advance. If you're planning to use Amazon, definitely do some advanced planning so that you can make sure that you get the numbers of texts that you need. You can also, back to school night is a great time to assess a book fee to scholars, maybe a flat rate, $25, $30. You can't mandate that scholars bring you that text money, but if they are going to have individual copies, I have found in my experience that scholars and families can make it happen to bring some of the cost of that from home. Something to think about. Okay, so we are going to kick off our training for program support. It's going to start Wednesday, June 21st, and the second day will be Thursday, June 22nd. Super excited about that. Those do overlap dates for math program support, so that's just an FYI for you all. We'll have an optional day on Friday the 23rd as well. More about that in a minute. So you're going to want to travel to New York on Tuesday the 20th to be ready bright and early on the 21st, and plan to leave either after 6:30 on Thursday or really any time on Friday. That makes sense for you. Some other logistics for this July training. If you're a logistics-y person, hopefully this will answer your questions. The trainings will be in Brooklyn and will be based at one of our schools, Endeavor Elementary. There's the address there. All 3 days will be at that school site. We won't spend any time in the network offices for Achievement First. So excited to take you into a school in Brooklyn. I tried to find the most Brooklyn picture of Brooklyn I could. So there it is. You and your network are responsible for purchasing your travel to and from New York, whatever method you would like. Same with hotel. Your network is responsible for purchasing hotels for your folks who are coming. We always recommend the Aloft. It's where we stay, but there's tons of options right in that little area, the Sheraton, the new hotel, the Marriott. They are all super close and walkable to restaurants and other places that a person might want to go. So super easy, and then also really easy subway travel to the school where we'll be based. We definitely recommend you do not rent a car because it's New York and that's crazy. Take a taxi or an Uber from the airport to your hotel and then just plan on subwaying and walking around, or of course you can Uber from hotel to school if you'd prefer. We will have coffee and lunch available during the training days because we'll share that with the AF leaders who will be meeting at the school at the same time as us. And that's just really great. But other than that, the price and logistics of food are up to you and your leaders. What you do is totally your call. We will, though, have a group dinner on Wednesday, June 21st. So all of us can have dinner together in kind of a exciting way. We'll bring everyone together. So those meals will be covered, and otherwise plan to make your own plans for meals. You're going to want to bring a binder, your laptop. Definitely, I'm going to talk about pre-work in a minute. You're going to want to bring your pre-work with you. And an FYI that Achievement First is professional dress all year round, so please plan to wear your business casual. This training, this 2-day training, is going to cover a lot. It's not going to cover absolutely everything. I would encourage you to kind of pause the video here and read through these lists of what we will and not cover during these trainings. We will definitely be digging into Unit 1, specifically for 8th grade, because that is a course that it looks like everyone on this list will be using for program support. So we'll use 8th grade as our starting point. But you might also, of course, then want to prepare materials for other grade levels, which won't happen during this training. We will talk about some systems and some intellectual prep and some ideas for supporting scholars, of course, but we only have 2 days. So these are starts of the conversation plus application, and then you'll need to go back to your state and city and network and make your plan for taking this application that you started and finalizing it for moving forward with training for your own teachers. I did mention that Friday is an option to have more time. So there's kind of 2 paths that you could take on Friday the 23rd. One is that I will still be there, so you can utilize my help as you're planning for your own network. Another option is that you might want to attend some of the leader trainings. So Arlia Clower, who is the creator of the middle school lit materials and the lead creator, there's some other folks involved as well. She's also kind of the teaching and learning team representative for middle school lit, and she's amazing. And she will be facilitating some sessions about middle school lit to Achievement First leaders. So I'll note that these are kind of 2.0. The sessions from last year are more the sessions that we are going to have during our training. But if you want to peek into her sessions on, for example, close reading bursts and what that looks like, or intellectual preparation between a coach and teacher, you do have the option of kind of auditing her sessions. She's graciously allowed that. So if these sessions look like something that you might want to stay and be a part of, please go ahead and click this link to register. So you do need to register for those sessions so that we can get you copies and so that Arlia knows if to expect 1 or 5 or 10 people in the back of her session. And you do need to register by Friday, May 19th, just to be respectful of her and the ops team that will need to prepare for the ops of that. So that's an exciting option that you might want to take advantage of. Next steps for anyone doing middle school lit program, there's kind of 3 components of the pre-work. And again, these links are live in the PowerPoint. I want you to download the 2 kind of vision documents for AF middle school ELA and zoom into the lit portion because, you know, we split literature and composition, they're separate courses. But really start to immerse yourself in the vision of middle school ELA. What do we believe? What do we want to see? What does an ideal classroom look like so that we can start to build that into your own vision for your own network? And then so that we can prep for the litness of lit and nerd out together, so excited by the way, please go ahead, download, read, and annotate the Unit 1 plan and the course packet of Dark Stories for Unit 1, 8th grade. These are the 16-17 materials, which, like I said, we're going to use. Some of the materials will be updated by June for 17-18 and definitely by the time school starts. So again, maybe you want to go that path, but for our sake, we're going to use these older ones for our training to make sure that we have all these materials ready and you can get a jump start. If you're a network who's already done this work, then major shout out to you for being way ahead of the game and just come prepared to talk about these things with other network leaders. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out. This is a long list of things for you to get started with. I'm really excited to see you in Brooklyn in June.